I don't think that's a condition. I'm willing to love. I'm open. I want to give men all my love.
No. Dot.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Like you don't want somebody to fuck over you more than once.
Oh, honey.
Let me ask you this. Hold on. We're going to stay in this. We're going to stay right there with what you just said. Have you had any family members fuck you over?
Yes, honey.
That's where my heartbreak, my fucking backstabbing, all that shit came from them.
Exactly. That's the whole point right there. Everybody's going to fuck you over. It's about finding out who's worth suffering for.
Yeah.
You have to have healthy boundaries in place. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
One strike, you're out. Why is that not healthy? I don't understand. Why is that not healthy?
It's not healthy.
When they say when somebody show you who they are, believe them.
Can I ask you?
So if you show me you're an asshole, let me go.
Say for little things, it has to be really something.
Yeah.
To have that support, like be in that corner, encourage them, make them believe that if they work at it, they can achieve it, because you can. You just have to learn the skill to do what you're trying to do. Now, it's not true where it's like, oh, you can be anything you want to be. Well, depends on the skills you have. If you have the set of skills required to be what you want to be, you can do it. Yes, you can do it by focus and effort. But if you think you're going to be an astronaut just because you want to be a fucking astronaut and don't go get the skills to be an astronaut, you're wasting your fucking time.
Roll me, Mac.
What makes a woman a compliment to a man's life, to me? In my mind, of what a compliment means to a man, we're talking about a man that is on his purpose, a man that is purposeful, a man that is working to be high value. Won't necessarily say high value, but that's the mindset just yet. I mean, it's not, I don't, from what my understanding of what high value is, I have a ways to go, but I believe I'm on that path to get there. So with that being said, she does not make the relationship about her. Number one, that's a red flag all day long. That's the number one thing that stands out. She does not turn the relationship to about her emotional. Everything is not centered around how she feels. That's where we're leaning into the more narcissistic area, where a situation, I'm sure we've been around people, seen relationships where if that woman is unhappy with her guy at the time, everybody feels it, you know what I'm saying? And it just makes it hella awkward for all of us. But that's a dead giveaway, a red flag to the highest degree. The fact that she makes the relationship about her. What makes a woman a compliment to me, she understands that she is entering my world. I'm not entering hers. You know what I mean? And I understand the responsibility that comes with that, me stating that she's entering my world. I have to provide a world for her to feel safe in, even though this world is hella unsafe. So it takes work every day, 24/7, 24/7, deciding that you are going to be this caliber of a man to ensure the safety of your tribe. You know what I mean? So your friends, you know, whoever you're seeing, and even at work, you know what I'm saying? Like if it comes down to that, you know, coworkers and stuff like that, you understand that these are under essentially your wing. It's just a mindset like to have. Now granted, their problems are not your problems. However, when you're faced with certain issues, it does require for you to ensure safety. And at least that's how I carry myself. I mean, if you're around me, I'm on alert. That's just my mentality. Now, I'm not going to let you make your problems my problems. I repeat that again. I will not allow you to make your problems my problems, but I will ensure that you are safe to deal with your own problems. Let's just say that. Another way that a woman is a compliment to me, feminine. Yes, she's feminine. And what I mean by that is that she's comfortable being a woman, a lady, you know, soft, sensitive. Her strength is in her softness, hands down. No, when I see women that play tough, you know what I mean? I know that you're not operating in your natural essence. From my own perspective, you're not operating in your strength, because your strength is your softness every time. I promise you, no man can resist a woman that is in her softness. Like it's like arguments, trying to outman a man in an argument, you'll lose that battle quite often. You know what I'm saying? Outmanning it. But when you go to your softness in an argument, that's when we become putty in your hands. I mean, that's cheat code. There you go. It's right there. Cheat code. You know, at work, by all means, do what you do. You know, operate your masculine all you fucking want. As soon as you clock out, as soon as you get in your car to head home to said man that you chose that hopefully operates in his masculine, turn the shit off and allow him to feel that role of masculinity and not you. Now, granted, if he's not going to do it and you're staying because you're afraid to be alone, then you accept all consequences that come with that. There should be no, I don't anticipate hearing any liable complaints for you choosing to stay with someone who's not willing to step up and do their part. That's just my take on that. Another thing that makes a woman a compliment is that, again, she also, you know, she adds value. She brings something as well. And brings something doesn't necessarily mean she has to, I mean, cooking is great, but I grew up in a house that I didn't see that. You know what I mean? I didn't see that quite often. I saw more of my father cooking than my mother. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't feel like I'm missing anything per se, but I am, you know, I'd be a fool to say I wouldn't take a meal if your cooking skills is hitting. You know, that's just what it is. As long as we're eating, that's really all that matters to me. Fighting fair. A woman who knows how to fight fair. Not a woman who wants to have a discussion with you, but uses sarcasm and passive aggressive. You know, like that to me it just creates more arguments, unnecessary arguments. That's the one thing right there. How a woman becomes a compliment to a man's life, she does not create unnecessary conflict at all, because it's pointless. Especially for a man that has shit to do, like purposefully every day. There is a goal to be taken care of, be it work, be it outside endeavors, whatever it is. There's no place for unnecessary arguments going on within the dynamic of you and that guy. Especially like if he's on his purpose, if he's on to something, he's working towards something bigger than himself. I advise you to get the fuck on board or get left. One of the two. You know, you can talk about one day you used to talk to whoever that guy is, you know what I'm saying? A guy that's on his purpose, you know what I'm saying? But that's building himself up on a day-to-day basis. Again, not every guy is doing that. So, but if indeed you are dating someone that is really like working towards themselves, building themselves up, building something, then I highly suggest that you get ample control of your emotions so that you do not project unnecessary conflict onto the dynamic. Because when it gets to a point where a guy believes that there's going to be an argument at some point every day, eventually he's going to recognize that he can go. He can leave. So keep bullshitting if you want to. Okay, that to me what makes makes a woman a compliment. She does not create unnecessary conflict. She knows how to, like I said, she knows how to fight fair. She knows how to, I guess she manages her emotions. She's aware. She doesn't say I'm angry. She says I feel angry. I feel anger. You know what I mean? She's able to separate. And it's just an example. I mean, you know, like an extreme, demand for that. But she recognizes that she's not her emotions. She can say, I feel happy. That I am happy, you know what I mean? Now, granted, if you say I am happy, I'm just not like, that's not a red flag or nothing like that. What I'm saying is that just the understanding of your emotional intelligence, honestly, just understanding your emotional intelligence, being able to be like, all right, I need a moment before we get into this conversation. Otherwise, I'm going to say something that I'm going to say something in an angry delivery. Like she's aware of how she normally react to something and then come back and be like, you know what? I believe we need I need a breather. I need to catch myself before we have this conversation because I'm triggered right now. Those, like, you know what I'm saying? Like when I hear emotional, intelligent words uttered around me, it's a fucking turn on. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's how much I love, a sense of mental health. But, when somebody's like, I had to protect my peace. I had to remove myself because the energy in the room was not for me. And, or even checking me. Be like, yeah, are you projecting onto me? Like, to me, that there is that's a fucking turn on, hands down. And it's either the truth or it's nonsense. So if I'm at fault, then fuck it, I gotta accept it. But to me, that's what makes a woman, that's also something that makes a woman a compliment. Like a compliment, another way a woman can compliment my life, she's comfortable with silence. You know what I mean? Like she's comfortable with, she doesn't have to fill silence with unnecessary conversation. Like talk about surface level shit. Don't get me wrong, it's cool if you're into like your little your TV shows and your music and all that other shit is cool. But to say like, I heard that Taylor Swift was really pissed off at Travis Kelce because he looked at, I don't know, Christina Aguilera's ass or some shit. What that got to do with the price of tea in China? What does that have to do with us? What does that have to do with your life? Number one, like that surface level shit. I really don't. I don't value that shit no more. I really don't. So if you want to talk about it, great. I'll listen. I'll ask key questions to help you expound on what it is that you want to talk about. But trust, I don't give a fuck. I don't. I really don't care. I try to watch my diet. I try to watch my diet on what I consume as far as content. So what I watch, what I read, listen to, etc. If I feel a certain way when I listen to it and it just comes uneasy, chances are I won't continue to partake in it. Like I said, to the best of my ability is what I'll do. I'd be lying if I say I didn't have some guilty pleasures. Now I'm not, I'm not that holy and sanctified just yet. But for the most part, just not being caught up in the matrix is really all that is. And that's another thing that makes a woman a compliment to me, is that she does not care to live in the matrix. She does not give a fuck what society standards tells her about relationships, about marriage, about whatever it is that everyone else is doing leading to misery. You know what I mean? Like, that to me makes the woman a compliment, because she has her own mind and she could give a fuck less what anyone else thinks as far as how she feels, the level of peace that she's in. That to me is a compliment. Another thing that is a compliment to me is patience. Patience with the process. Really. I think truly that's another thing, is having patience with the process. The process of growth for yourself, the process of my own growth, process of building, working towards your purpose. That is a compliment to me. What makes a woman a compliment to me is the fact that she knows how to allow a man to lead. You know what I'm saying? Like, she will leave that space for him to make that decision, to lead lead the situation. And again, and another thing one has to respect is, if you're not going to lead and she decides to go, then you have to accept that as a man. That's me. That's my mentality. She's okay with the little things when it comes to on a date. You know what I mean? Like, if it means sitting on the back of a car looking at the stars, or being able to say, hell, just sit in a car playing music from the past, present, or just sitting in the car talking, reflecting, whatever it is. Going to the beach, right? Going to the beach, got a few towels, some food, and just watching nature, honestly. One thing I really like to do, I like to see them birds suicide dive for fish, and comment and narrate while they're doing it, like before they go down, like, something like that. It's, it's little, but it's fun. It's fun to me. And being able to feed birds when you're done with your food is also another thing I like to do when I'm at the beach. But getting back on to the subject of what makes a woman a compliment to me, she takes pride in appearance, as far as like how she carries herself. You know what I mean? I know, hell, during the week you got a lot of shit going on, especially if you have kids, whatever it is. But when it comes time for the date, she puts forth her best effort. One, for herself, and two, just for wanting to look her best around you. It says a lot, when a woman shows genuine burning desire. Because I'm gonna come with my best. You know what I'm saying? Like, I make it a point every day to kind of carry myself that way. And don't get me wrong, I when it's just like me in the house, like lounging and shit like that, sometimes I'll let loose a little bit. But before I step out that house, or wherever I go, whether it be work, or hell, sometimes even to the gym, I comes correct. I do my best. I do my best to kind of just put that best foot forward. Her ability to truly enter my frame. And by that, I mean comfortable enough to not lose solely all her guard, but more so that tough exterior that she becomes almost childlike around you. You know what I'm saying? Like, she feels safe enough to be goofy, to laugh, you know what I'm saying? Part of her that was a little girl that felt safe before we learned how fucked up life was. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a very telling sign to me when a woman's feeling so comfortable, at ease, at peace around me, that she allows herself to just be a free loving kid, a free loving person, and she trusts that anything that comes up, that we'll be able to handle it. Like, in the event that it goes south on my end or something, she has no issues being able to handle it as well. It's like I said, it's working as a team. Like, to me, that's the thing of beauty. So I said a lot of compliments. I said a lot of things that I consider to be how a woman can be a compliment to a man. I'm sure there's more, but again, I'm just going off the dome. But that's what I believe are ways that a woman could be a compliment to me. You want your children to follow your exact path in life? If not, what would you change? Well, I would want my kids to have ambition. I would certainly want them to go through pain so that they can be stronger for it and understand that this world is not as kind as it was drawn out to be maybe when we were younger. Depending on the cushiony family that you might have had that tried to hide you from what the real world is. But if you were fortunate enough to come from humble beginnings, it doesn't necessarily mean you grew up broke. I'm gonna say poor is a mindset, but if you grew up in some senses broke, it enabled you to have a sense of gratitude for the things that you have. So what I will say for my kid, I would want her to not beat herself up the way that I did for so long and allow depression to take over her, and understand that she wouldn't have to question my support in her at any given moment. You know what I mean? Like, I may not approve of a lot of things that my daughter does, but I assure you I'm behind her 1,000%. And that's just how it is. I don't want to be that parent that kind of tells you what to do either. That's another thing I would do differently, because I live my life trying to impress, to get my parents' love, validation for a very, very long time. And I never want her to feel that. I never want her to feel that the things that she's doing for herself are not enough. I want her to live her life. So if I could do that differently, I would want that. I would want her, because I wouldn't want to do that. I spent a lot of years trying to prove myself to my parents, prove myself, for validation, chasing, becoming a character, and just wanting to be seen, heard, and loved. That's really all it is. Everything that I went through was all about being seen, heard, and loved. All the things of trying to be funny, trying to be the class clown, trying to stand out, trying to be the best at whatever, was all to be seen by the ones that had me. That's really what it was all about. So but learning to love yourself unconditionally and not understand that your parents were there to get you started. You know what I mean? Like, they're not your sole relied upon validational system. They're just meant to get you started in life. You are your validational system. And it took some time to realize that for myself. So what I would hope for my kids, I would want them to recognize how dope they are early on, as early as possible. And I don't really think I had that problem with my kid. You know what I mean? Like for her, I love her confidence so fucking much. You know what I mean? Inspiring, very inspiring. She inspires me every day. You know what I'm saying? When I see her do her creativity, when I'm able to see her bring out more of that creativity. And it's just, like I said, it's just a thing of beauty. I really love when we've never really talked about these things, but whenever she'll send a clip of her playing the piano and doesn't know how to read music, just like her father, but I've never taught her that shit. And it's just something that it's a gift that we both have. You know what I mean? So to see that align within God and His universe, like I said, I smile every time I see it. Just, like I said, overjoyed at the woman that she's becoming. You know what I mean? And with so much creativity. And I say that to any of like my god kids and stuff as well. Like just seeing that. So what I want my kid to have the same path in life with me. Yeah, in a sense of facing adversity and knowing that you can overcome it, yes. I would want her to know that she can. I want her to experience some challenges that may sometimes feel like you're not able to get over the hump. But as you chip it day by day, eventually, the wall, you build a wall brick by brick, one brick at a time. And eventually you have a wall. So instead of trying to face 5 things at once, find out what the priority is and all of that and overcome it. And you will. It's just that determination and stubborn, it's in her blood on both sides. It's in her blood on both sides to just be determined, stubborn, ambitious, all of that, to keep going. So I would want her to, I want her to have the same, I want her to go through her fair share of challenges. I would, but what I would do differently for her is just constantly being in her ear, in her corner, and letting her know that no matter what happens, I'm going to love you unconditionally. Like, there's nothing you have to do to get the love that I have for you right now. I promise you. And the love just only grows. You know what I mean? Like that, like giving that level of support to our kids, I think is vital. Is very vital. I mean, think about a lot of us and how we turned out. If we felt like we had that support from, our parents, our family, whatever, and it's not their responsibility, for our happiness. But in the event that you had that, where would you be? At the same time, also, where would you be if you didn't have the challenges? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a butterfly effect. You change one thing, you change everything. But to have that support, like be in that corner, encourage them, make them believe that if they work at it, they can achieve it, because you can. You just have to learn the skill to do what you're trying to do. Now, it's not true where it's like, oh, you can be anything you want to be. Well, depends on the skills you have. If you have the set of skills required to be what you want to be, you can do it. Yes, you can do it by focus and effort. But if you think you're going to be an astronaut just because you want to be a fucking astronaut and don't go get the skills to be an astronaut, you're wasting your fucking time. My perspective, that's really how I see that thing. But do what I want my kid to, like I say, exact path. Some parts, yes. Some parts I'm like, I would never want you to feel this way. No, not from a parent. I would never want you to feel this way. I want you to feel that I support, that me and your mommy have, support you no matter what it is that you decide to do. And don't make it about, like, your success is not about me. It's all you, and, stand alone. I'm just there to smile on the outside and smile on the inside when I see you accomplish what you're doing. That to me is that's my position as a parent, as far as like how I want to support my kid as her dad. You know what I mean? Like, that's my mentality with that. I don't believe, like some ex-NBA, baseball, NFL players, they're there cheering their kid on because they're representing them. No, my kid is her own entity. You know what I'm saying? By herself. I just want to be there to support her whenever she needs it. That's what it is for me. I don't believe, like, let's say if she were to go to the Air Force, would that I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind if she decided to go to the Air Force, but I'd be there to support her the best as I can. As far as for her career, whatever advice she might need. But it's not going to be like, see that's my, that's my baby. All that shit where like you make the situation about you. I just want you to have your moment. You know what I mean? I don't want it to focus on me, if I can help it. You know, I just want to support her in her moment, whatever she needs. And, you know, I mean, that's how I see it. But following the exact paths. The exact path, no. Some parts, yes. Being able to overcome challenges so that you can recognize strength that you didn't know you had. I want that for you. I do. I really do want that for you. What I said, only thing I would do like differently is just recognizing that to not take anything personal. Whatever comes up in life, don't take anything personal. I just have her read the 4 agreements. Honestly, just read the 4 agreements and watch your life change. At least what it did for me. And you know what I'm saying? So I would want her and the other kid, you know, around me, I would want them to understand that they have all the power. And you give it away when you show lack of confidence. When you're like the power, everything that you require to overcome what's before you is in you already. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's just changing your mindset to recognize where that power lies inside you. That's the beauty of this life, you know, is changing your mindset. So learning how to read, learning how to meditate, so that you can find these powers needed to overcome whatever challenge is before you. Because it's all inside you already. We're just discovering, you know, you get your shovel out, you read a book, you clear your mind with meditation, you remove negative energy, you bring your cortisol levels down, you remove stress, and then you're able to make solid decisions, however that is, you know. But understanding that you can overcome whatever, man, it's a superpower, man. And I would want her to understand, like, learning difference and being able to focus on the path before her, to feel everything, not be afraid to feel emotion. I was like that for a little while too, where it's like I wouldn't allow myself to feel anything. But being able to have that emotional intelligence, that's something I would do differently, because I wish I had this a lot sooner than when I obtained it. But it's definitely quite helpful. And I know it's going to be helpful for her as she, you know, gets older, as long as I'm here. And even after I'm here, that's what all this shit is, you know, like being able to go back and look at these episodes and learn, you know, again, just how did my father think to handle this situation? This is what the fuck he said right here. So maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't, you know. It's not necessarily unless they say there's a right and wrong way for how to live your life. I think there's effective and ineffective. Something I might do might be effective for me, but you might do the same thing and it's ineffective depending on your goal. But to say that I live the right way and you live the wrong way, or you live the right way and I live the wrong way, I'm not going to say that to anyone. I know what works for me and I've lived long enough to make mistakes and learn what doesn't work for me. So would I want my baby to go the exact path of me? No. I would want her to have some of the things that I've done, and differently would just be to show unconditional love and support to her. Do you prefer dogs or cats as pets? Truth be told, I'm learning more and more about both of them. Like I don't necessarily say like our family didn't necessarily treat pets the greatest. I would say that, just knowing what I know by being around people that take care of pets. So I'm learning that I have more connection with dogs and cats than I do with humans. I prefer, they're just unconditional lovers. Cats more selective. because just how they're designed. You know, come around you when they want something, and they're very choosy about who they let in to their circle. Dogs is like, you know, and some of them depend too. But between the two, I prefer dogs, and I prefer dogs just because of how lazy they can be with me when they get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be able to just lay out, and also that level of protection that comes into play depending on the breed. But if there was a choice between, like I said, two of them, dogs and cats, and I do dig on cats. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ill about cats. I love pets in general. But between the two, I'm definitely going with like that connection between dog and man, and just that level of protection. Once they choose you as their person, that they'll do just about anything for you. I've seen that with my best friend and his dog, and his girlfriend's, my best friend and his girlfriend's dog, and then also just random friends and their dogs. Just seeing that connection when they choose you as their person, that's a connection that you have to see to believe, and it's just dope to see. So if I had a choice between dogs and cats, I'd definitely pick dogs. When was the last time you felt like quitting in life? Last time I felt like quitting in life, recently, like last week or more, felt like quitting, and just overwhelmed, right? Just overwhelmed with your own creativity. That's the best way to put it. The best way to put that is being overwhelmed with your own creativity, and as well as being your biggest critic and trying to do things now that take years, months to do, weeks maybe, but that feeling of, I don't want to do this shit anymore. I'm just tired. I just want to let go. I don't want to hold myself to I don't want to live up to my standards or rituals anymore. I want to do nothing. I want to be non-productive. Me and my ego fight that shit every fucking morning that I wake up, just feeling like I do not want to leave this bed. I don't want to do this shit. I don't want to do it. Imposter syndrome, maybe. Who knows? But I don't want to do it. I'm done. Or allowing your ego to get in the way, in the sense of reciprocation of something from someone, believing that, you put forth this and you're getting this back, and then getting caught up in being conditional on things. That's why it's best to live with the sense of unconditional love outside of business transactions. Everything you do it because you want to, and you don't expect anything in return. And life will continuously show me that. There are days where days are more challenging than others, but I don't have bad days. Some days are more challenging than others. It's just a day. Don't put anything on it. Don't put it on a pedestal. Don't put the day on anything. It's just go out with the mindset that today's going to be an amazing day. No matter what happens, today is going to be an amazing day. Just by protecting your peace. It is you who controls how you feel. Every feeling I have is a mood that I chose. Regardless of what happens, I'm choosing the mood that I'm in. And there are days where old programming wins. When certain things happen, you get triggered, and it's like, all right, I mastered the way that I used to respond to this thing. And when I used to respond to this, I responded with tantrums, sitting there looking like a little Indian chief, waiting for somebody to come and save me, and no one is coming to save you. no one is coming to save you. They're not. They're just not. And it's just learning to pick your shit up, feel everything you feel. When you feel like quitting, press forward any fucking way. However you can. If it means your best is going to take a different best every day, depending on what happens in that day. If all you did was get out of bed versus staying in it, congratulations. You have successfully done something. If all you did was go to work and you didn't cuss out your coworker, you didn't allow this customer to get to you, you just took it. If you got overwhelmed and you sat with yourself and you allowed yourself just to breathe, you won. You've done something. That counts. It does count for something, because you very well could have allowed your emotions to overcome you and done something that you might have regretted. And it's just understanding that anger is a choice response, and that no one's responsible for your happiness but you. You do not have to use anger in such manner. There's nothing wrong with having feelings of anger. Understand that. There's nothing wrong with having feelings of anger. I truly believe there's nothing wrong with having feelings of anger. But as the Buddhist quotes state, you will not be punished for your anger, but you will be punished by your anger. And what that does is it eats at you. Anger, the anger it really only affects you when you're angry. No one has to care that you're angry. They're not your parents. And that's looking at the perspective. Some of us are used to, or still waiting for our parents to respond to our anger. And then we project that onto the people around us, thinking that they're going to do the same. Now, what happens is, depending on how that child, those people around you were raised, if they were raised by parents that made them responsible for their emotions, they're going to cater to your anger. But if they both came from a home where no one cared about their feelings, or in a healthy state where they were taught to be responsible for their own emotions, they're not going to cater to your anger. But the people pleasers, the ones who feel they have to do shit for validation, the ones that feel like they have to do shit for love, they'll cater to your anger because they're used to it. Their parents taught them that. It's programming. That's what it was taught to us, to try to respond. You want to have to mediate everybody around. I used to drive myself fucking crazy trying to mediate all family members, friends, and all this shit. Fuck that. Walk away. Remove yourself from the situation. So when you have those feelings of quitting, or if you want to take on everybody else's shit, understand that you're only responsible for your life. That's it. If you got kids, young kids, understand that you're only responsible for your life, and then responsible of just the emotion, that emotional support, and some financial support depending on what it is. But the emotional support and financial support of our kids, and spiritual support too. Once you tap into that, that's the responsibility. But other than that, everybody else, when you hit a certain age, you're grown, and you're responsible for your choices. You don't get to blame everybody else for your decisions in life, and don't allow anybody to do so. When you feel that, that's what I like to remove myself from people who try to make me responsible for their happiness. Because I don't want the responsibility. I don't accept it. I don't. I mean, we're grown. You don't have to do that. And I don't have to do that. And it's just the programming, we get around people that we claim to love, and then we try to make them responsible for our happiness. And I don't believe that's how it works. That's unhealthy, It's not my responsibility to make you happy, or to how to make you feel happy. No, it's you. You choose to be happy. You choose happiness. We all choose. We choose happiness. We choose sadness. We choose everything. Every emotion that we show, we're choosing to do it. Whether it be the programming we've had from a long time ago, we are choosing that happiness. You know what I'm saying? We're choosing that sadness to respond to certain things. So all we have to do is just reprogram ourselves. Now, that sounds easy, but it takes work. It's, it's simple. As Jim Rohn says, it's not easy, but it's simple. It's simple to reprogram yourself. It's challenging for some of us to do it, but it's simple to reprogram the way you respond to something, to be able to pause. Recognize that. Like if you're sitting in traffic, somebody cut you off, and normally you would cuss them the fuck out. What would it mean? It wouldn't. Normally you want to drive up to them and run them off the fucking road. It just feels good. But the consequences are more detrimental than we know at the time when our emotions are running high. I do remember a time when my brother, my mom, and my daughter, they came to Miami. I used to have road rage on the turnpike. And a guy cut me off, and I tried to chase him for a good little while. And yeah, road rage, you know what I'm saying? It just looks like you don't know how to control your emotions. And I had to learn that. It took time. It took time. And I won't say he's through with me yet. God ain't through with me yet with such. But for the most part, I'd say having emotional awareness can save you from ruining your life. Let's just say that in many situations. That's probably the most essential skill I can ask anyone to have, is to learn how to control your fucking mind and your emotions. Yeah, I'm not able to stress that enough. Learning how to control your emotions, how you respond to things, and how you see things. We don't look at the world as it is. We look at the world how we see it. So learn to see the world in a way that doesn't make you want to lose your shit. Say all that to say that I recently felt like quitting. I did. I recently felt like quitting just everything. There are days where it can be a lot. When you're doing a lot, there's days when it can feel like it's a lot, and it's just all about how you're looking at it. So being able to take a break and just breathe and really not do anything. Allow your brain to recalibrate itself, letting go, not having so much stimulation from dopamine. However, whatever that means for you. Like being able to manage the amount of dopamine that you ingest, allow your brain to recalibrate. But here we are again at the end of another episode. So thank you for listening this long. If you made it this long in the video, and if so, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, comment if you want as well. But I appreciate everyone's efforts in checking out each episode. Much appreciated to those who will talk to me outside of doing the show through text or through the phone. Just the encouragement means more than you know, truly. But I'm Romy Mac. This is episode 243. Yeah, episode 243, and I'm out. Good night, kids. What imperfections do you love in a woman? Let's start with your stretch marks, right? Like I said, depending on where they are. I love that shit. I love a tiger stripe. I'm all for it. The pudge that you're not that same skinny bitch that you were when you were 18 years old. I love it. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's proportioned right now. Again, I don't do Smeagol's, Gollum, and I do not do Precious. You find yourself in between. You know what I'm saying? Don't lean too far to the left to where you're a stick figure, and don't lean too far to the right where you have to get towed out of your own house. You know what I'm saying? Call me shallow. Preference is preference. Again, I don't think that they shouldn't have love or anything like that. Either of those sizes. We're talking about my preferences. So, but to get back to that, yes, stretch marks, babies fucking up your figure, from having children, being short, or hell, some being tall, some Amazons, and chop a tree down, goddammit. Imperfections, like trying to do everything the right way or say everything the right way. No. No, it's not necessary. You know, it's not necessary. You're human. You know what I mean? Like that's something that one must understand is that human. So there are some mistakes. Certain stuff won't be tolerated in the sense of just like being masculine and being disrespectful. That's a whole different ballgame. Because for me, respect is more important than love. Because there's no way a woman can love you unless she respects you. And if she doesn't respect you, then she does not love you. That's just my mentality. So when I don't care how many times you say I love you out of your mouth, if you don't trust me to lead, if you don't allow me to lead, if you talk to me like you done lost your fucking mind, you don't love me. Not in my mind. I'm not interpreting that as love. That might work for wherever you come from, your family and shit. I'm not spending the rest of my life. I think long term, I'm not spending the rest of my life with somebody who does not respect me as a man. That's just my mentality on that. Imperfections of imperfections of a woman. Assumptions. A woman's superpower. Making assumptions about things. It depends on how often the assumptions happen, but just making the assumption like, oh, you didn't like me or some shit. Like I remember when I first met my best friend's lady friend, and you know what I'm saying, we're tight, you know, it's family now. But initially, when I met her, she thought I didn't like her. I don't know why my acceptance of that mattered. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that it did, but that's just a statement that was, that's how I took it. Like, fuck care about, you know, like me liking you. You know what I mean? Like I'm one of those people. I don't need the entire tribe to like me. I'm not dating you. You know what I mean? I'm dealing with this one individual. So when me and this one individual get into quarrels, I can't lean on the fact that, hey, well, they like me, so you shouldn't be mad at me. No, I still got to deal with your ass. You know what I mean? But like, don't you know, those assumptions, because you don't know unless you ask questions. That is certain assumptions are permissible. Especially when, I mean, most of our assumptions highlight our insecurities anyway. How it worked out, and you know, and the interesting thing when I shared it, when you know, I laughed when I found out about it. I was like, more like a awe type thing. But it's like, you have no idea how I've seen the shift in his behavior, you know, since like, you know, like past and stuff. So to see that, I'm like, no, it's never not a like or dislike, but I love what you do for my best friend as far as the way it makes him feel. You know what I'm saying? How he feels seen, heard, and loved by you. That's what you know what I'm saying? I love that. I love that you are able to make him feel that way. Now, granted, that's like in the beginning, you know, when we, like I said, when we first met and shit like that. So, and I'm just talking about that minor assumption. It's like like I said, minor assumption. And but like, and it's just giving an example of what an assumption could be. That as well. But imperfections, not being able to make this meal as perfect as you want it to. Don't give a fuck about it. It's food. You know what I mean? Like, that's never been a situation where I'm tossing a plate because the mashed potatoes weren't right. Or some shit like that. To me, that shit is bogus. It's fucking food, you know? And it's just not that big of a deal to me. There's more important things to navigate in life besides such. Let's see, other imperfections. Saying my kid's name wrong, or spelling, or somebody that's like in the family saying their name wrong, or you know, spelling their name wrong in text or something like that. Easy corrections, imperfections, whatever. Like, there's no need to be the imperfections. Worrying about your weight is another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really, like I said, it really all depends on how you carry yourself. You know, like I don't necessarily sweat about that. Like I said, Gollum, Precious. Find your route. That's me. That's me and my preference. That's all that is. I think that's a solid list of like imperfections that I can think of right now off the top of my head. But like I said, I love that. I love that in women. So it doesn't bother me now. Not one bit.